What's good, beast hounds? It's your boy Kitkin Raid. You got protein questions? I get answers. Very simply, straight to it. If building muscle is your goal, or just the optimum intake for health, you want to be getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body mass. Not lean body mass, body mass. This is a pretty standard recommendation. If you're new to training, this is a great place to start. But as always, there's nuance. If you're a vegan, if you're dieting, if you're an experienced lifter, this recommendation is going to vary. So simple catch-all answer out the way, let's get on to why this may or may not be right for you. Firstly, we'd be remiss not to mention that in a meta-analysis, Morton et al. Found there is no benefit to strength or size to consuming more than 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. But I don't think this study is relevant to most of us. The majority of the participants in this study were untrained. An untrained individual can basically sneeze out a bicep. If you've never trained before, you are the most primed you're ever going to be to make strength and size gains. The amount of stimulus and protein a newbie lifter needs is going to be less than in a well-trained individual. The longer you've been training and the closer you are to your potential, the harder it is to make gains and the more things you're going to have to be getting right to progress. Not to mention that the study is based only on body weight and not lean body mass. So if you're dealing with an untrained participant, it's likely that they're not going to be in the best shape. So higher body fat, which means more body weight, which means they are actually getting more protein per pound of lean body mass. So for anyone with any experience under their belt or anyone on the leaner side, again, I would recommend that 1 gram per pound figure upwards. And there are many studies that support this recommendation. However, as I said, bigger picture, it's not exactly that simple. If you are, for example, one of them vegans or a vegetarian, you're going to need to consider your protein sources. Protein isn't actually one thing. Not all proteins are equal. Protein is a catch-all term for a chain of different amino acids. Some amino acids are not essential because your body can synthesize them. There are, however, 9 essential amino acids that are essential because your body can't synthesize them. You need them to live, you can't make them, so you have to take them in nutritionally. Generally, and thankfully, animal sources of protein, including byproducts like eggs and dairy, are complete proteins, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids. So you can basically rely on one protein source, and aside from being bored, just protein-wise, you're all good. The story is slightly more complex with plant-based sources of protein. Many are incomplete proteins, meaning you need to kind of shop around, as it were, balance your protein from different sources to make sure you're actually getting your 9 essential amino acids. And it gets more complicated. Soy. Soy is a complete protein. Woohoo! Easy, right? I'll just get the soy. I'm gonna be a soy boy. Give me the soy. No. Soy protein has been shown to be less effective than whey protein at triggering muscle synthesis after exercise. However, a recent study has shown no significant difference in muscle and strength development when soy and whey were matched for leucine. So leucine is the best researched amino acid that activates mTOR, which then induces muscle protein synthesis. Basically, it's likely that leucine is your main boy for stimulating muscle growth. So in this study, the soy group supplemented with 26 grams of soy protein isolate to match the leucine content of 19 grams of whey protein isolate. They both contain 2 grams of leucine. Now, if you're vegetarian, eggs are a great source of leucine. Just over 1 gram of leucine in a typical egg, so maybe smash a couple of eggs with your soy protein. If you're vegan and you want to get yolked while avoiding the yolks, it'd be wise to literally take 1/3 more soy protein, or you can get a vegan leucine powder, which you just add to your protein powder or meals to up that leucine punch. So to optimize your journey to Swolesville, population U, that's about all you need to know. But if you also want to take a visit to Shreddytown, which I know you do, you might be interested to know that studies pretty consistently show that the higher protein you're on, the better your body composition is likely to be. In an 8-week study of resistance trainers, one group on 1.3 grams per pound, which is high, and another group on 1.5 grams per pound, which is very high, they both built the same amount of muscle as they're both reaching the intake level where the benefit for protein synthesis is maxed out. But the very high protein group lost on average 5 times the amount of fat as the high protein group, suggesting that if getting lean is your goal, a high protein diet may help achieve that. We've spoken about NEAT and satiety in other videos, and that could explain the difference in fat loss. But for application, the result is the same. You want to get lean, eat more protein.
But is getting that much protein safe? I've heard that it ruins your kidneys and crumbles your bones.
Who needs bones?
Be on muscle, baby.
It is suggested that a high protein intake for somebody who already has kidney disease may not be ideal. However, if you don't have kidney disease, you're all good. A study by DeVries et al. Concludes that high protein intakes do not adversely influence kidney function in healthy adults. And as for your bones, a systematic review from the National Osteoporosis Foundation found that the current evidence shows no adverse effects of higher protein intakes, although there were positive trends on bone mineral density at most bone sites. Only the lumbar spine showed moderate evidence to support the benefits of higher protein intake. So what they're saying here is our results show no negative effects and actually limited positive effects, so go ham. And to tie this all up nicely, Antonio et al. Concludes consuming a high protein diet, which in their case was around 1.5 grams per pound, in conjunction with a heavy resistance training program may confer benefits with regards to body composition, and they add, furthermore, there is no evidence that consuming a high protein diet has any deleterious effects. So chill out. Here's your takeaways. If you're new to training, 1 gram per pound will cover your bases unless you're like 30% body fat, in which case that'd be excessive. And there's nothing wrong with eating excessive protein. But you might find more room in your calories for things you enjoy, which would make your diet easier if you weren't overshooting it so much. So if you have a lot of fat to lose and you know your body fat percentage roughly, do weight in pounds divided by 1 point your body fat percentage times 1.15, which is going to estimate your body weight if you were 15%. Whatever that number is, aim there for your protein. If you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and you're lean AF, go higher, 1.2 grams upwards. If you're on a diet and you're looking to retain maximum muscle, go higher, 1.2 grams upwards. If you are well trained, meaning you've been training for some time, you've already built a fair amount of muscle, go higher, 1.2 grams upwards. If you want to get shredded to the bone, diced to the socks, spooky, yucky, minced, go higher. Satiety, muscle retention, NEAT. Remember, there are no deleterious effects from eating too much protein. So, as long as you're getting enough fats to support your health, and if you're eating carbs, enough carbs to support your workouts, go nuts. And speaking of nuts, if you are a vegan or a vegetarian, be aware that you need to vary your protein sources to ensure that you're getting a complete amino acid profile. And if you're taking soy protein, you'll want to take either a third extra or ideally get a leucine supplement and smash a couple of grams with your meals. Basically, all of that to say, the leaner you are, the harder, the more often you train, the harder you're dieting, the more protein you're going to want. If you're interested, I am on about 1.3 grams per pound. I feel good on that. It's not difficult. I haven't been supplementing. I've been dieting for a while and I haven't really struggled. All right, you nerds, get out of here, scram. Make sure you're hitting your protein. It's not just abs that are made in the kitchen, it's gains too. I definitely spent years not getting the most out of my workouts because I wasn't supporting them from the kitchen. If you haven't already, do subscribe. You know you learned something here. We're spitting facts all over the show. Stick around. Let's get yucky together, brother. And as always, my friends, get them gains. Be well.